going on, guys? Welcome to the Mog House, where today we're taking our first steps into the lore and history of Final Fantasy XI. In this video, I'd like to share with you the creation myth, as it's something everyone who has ever played Final Fantasy XI knows at least the first line of. After all,
it all began with a stone, or so the legend says.
Now, note the title of this video, Creation Myth. Much like in real life, history has a way of being exaggerated or changed in a way that makes the story somewhat better for those telling it or hearing it. Whether that's because there's some comfort in a complete fabrication, or maybe protection from the real truth, I don't know. However, I think it's important that the myth exists, as it does play a role for story content down the line and impacts character motivations within those story arcs. Remember, this is also the player's initial knowledge, before the true history is revealed. And you might be thinking that everything about this story is a lie. It isn't, it's just not the whole truth. So, it all began with a stone, a giant sentient jewel which created all life and banished the darkness. The jewel brought into life the gods. These gods are beings that are said to have infinite power, two of which we know as Altana and Promethea. The gods created the world of VANA'DIEL, a paradise in which they and their children played. After much time had passed, the gods fell into slumber. But while the parents' gods slept, however, their children continued to play and create their own civilization, known as the Ancients. The Ancients, not content with just living and inhabiting the world, wished to ascend and join their godparents in paradise. This is basically a huge no-no. Paradise was only meant for the gods after all. So the Holy Gatekeeper destroyed their path and cast their homes to the bottom of the sea. Altana, who was in slumber during this whole ordeal, wakes up to find her cherished VANA'DIEL in ruins. Distraught, the Dawn Goddess, a god of light, happiness and joy, experiences, probably for the first time, true sadness. She cries for the world. Her tears repair the damage done to VANA'DIEL, and 5 divine tears fall onto the repaired lands, and each tear gives birth to a new race of people. The Hume, the Galka, the Elven, the Mithra, and the Taru, collectively known as the Enlightened Races. Now at peace once more, Altana leaves VANA'DIEL to grow in peace and harmony. Unfortunately, Altana was not aware that Promethea, god of twilight, watched her from the shadows. Dismayed that Altana had not learnt from the children's mistakes and angered by her actions, Promethea set about to curse Altana's newly created races to constant internal conflict by bringing out their worst traits, those being the Hume's apathy, the Galka rage, the Elven arrogance, Mithra's envy, and the cowardice of Taru. That sound familiar? Now you know where the key items for the high tier Archangel battles get their names. To further ensure that Altana's work would not lead to another attempt by people to reach paradise, Promethea created races of his own. Collectively known as the Beastmen, these races were put in place to war with the Enlightened races and occupy their minds, for if they were constantly at war, there would be little time to think of entering paradise. And this is the world that the player enters. They choose one of the 5 races to be, and they are instantly put into this war against the Beastmen. However, this doesn't tell the whole story, and in the next video, we'll get into the real history of VANA'DIEL. But for now, I'd like to leave you with this little chunk of lore from Final Fantasy XI, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.